paintings I want to show you tell a story that begin with our awakening to the digital age, which passed over, in my opinion. We never really noted the moment when the world changed. I started out the series in 2014, changing my whole method of painting from abstraction to wanting to do figurative work, directly painting with oils on canvas, which I had never done up to this point. So I tried to do a study of wires under our desks, thinking I was getting at some amorphous idea about technology, but mostly just interested in the forms. I changed the direction when I put my foot into the frame and realized what I was most interested in was the interaction of humans under our desks with those wires. And this is a moment I particularly remember when we were all learning about technology in the commercial zone. People were trying to purchase a simple thing in a hardware store, and all of a sudden it was a number crunching exercise that went on for 10 minutes. And that to me represented the sort of breaking of the human connection between buyer and seller in the store. Then we have this other moment too, where it becomes a kind of triple-decker universe, in my view, where underneath the desk you have this interaction of wires and humans, which is always a kind of a troubled place that nobody wanted to go. It was dusty and dirty, as well as just confusing down there. But the clean surface of the human getting it done, sort of earthbound affairs of our lives. And then you have this above world, which was sort of the cloud. Who knows what the cloud really is? It's sort of an unfathomable thing. And suddenly it became kind of a religious metaphor to me. And down below really did represent the kind of place you never want to go. There was a kind of derangement that sets in the decades we have been involved in technology, and a kind of destabilization of who we are. And I became interested in that subject toward the end of the series called Tablet and Cloud, Pilgrims in Cyberspace. And the next series I did was called In Those Days There Was No River Here. And that really is a result of the kind of cut-offness of our souls to the environments we live in as we get more and more involved in the technological experience. And as this was beginning to happen, waters were beginning to rise, our environments were changing, climate change was setting in. And this series that I have just described, called In Those Days, is an elder talking backward in time to children, her child, saying, there was once no river here, and now there is. And this series always contains a child, an animal, and an adult. And it's the expressions, the reading of their expressions, that I think tells the story. We move over to this series over here called Working Below Sea Level. And this was the series started in about 2019 and finished after COVID. And the meaning of the title, Working Below Sea Level, had a kind of metaphoric meaning to the times when we were all enclosed, having to struggle to breathe, trying to adjust to a new way of working and being with our families, new habitat essentially. That is the theme of this whole exhibition. I dumped them all in the water has risen, they're swimming around and they're finding things they have to do down there. What are they trying to do? They're fixing things. What are they fixing? They're inventing things. But it was a discussion about really how our bodies we have to reunite with our bodies and figure out what they're made for. Women have to get to work in a different way, tool belts on their hips. There's a kind of sense that there's work to be done, and technology is not going to help right now. So that is the kind of theme here that I've been working with. It covers a span of decades in the years that I've been alive and an adult. And the whole thing was a coherent story, and I decided I would put it in a book. And this is the title of the book. I chose the title, In Those Days There Was No River Here. And it's all 27 images from those three series, starting with the technology series and ending with this one. And I deliberately made it sort of a parable, telling the story that I've essentially told you now, but in a book form.